ask us, what are the benefits of mediation over traditional resolution systems? Why must we go for mediation? What do we get out of mediation that we don't already have in our traditional or existing organizational systems? And in answering that question, I think it's important to just be sure about what the purpose of mediation is. And if we look at mediation, we see that the process of mediation is a completely voluntary one. In other words, the parties themselves need to agree to be part of it, whether absolutely voluntarily or just on the basis of, we're willing to give it a go. That it is owned by them. They choose to get through it or not to get through it. It's a safe place for them to do so because it's totally non-prejudicial. And critically in the process, mediation provides an opportunity for the solution to be found by the parties themselves, genuinely, authentically, and sustainably, and not given to them through this massive train called the system. And if we understand mediation in that context, we begin to see the real benefits that arise. And let's start with the simplest and most obvious, and that is the costs. And there's two areas of cost, obviously. The first being just financial costs, and the second being the cost in time and wasted energy. If we look at traditional systems, conflict that arises in an organization that's put into the system can take weeks, even months to conclude. It is fraught with technical and technocratic pathways that need to be concurred with. The excuse of transparency becomes a weapon rather than a tool. And over time, the conflict itself becomes secondary to the technocratic systems that are driving it. Those of you who are from an HR platform, those of you who are from a management platform, watching this will recognize straight away how much time it takes of yours, how much money gets drained in the process of trying to get a technical solution. The benefit of mediation is that a mediation takes 1 day to resolve. That's how simple it can be. I mean, obviously there are times when it might be a bit more than that, but if we catch the opportunity for mediation correctly, mediation is in and out, and it is genuine and authentic at the same time, simply because we allow the human process to supersede the technocratic process. So from a direct cost implication, it really is a very clear alternative to using traditional organizational systems. Those of you who have been in the employment tribunals trying to resolve these types of issues also know that there is no such thing as a win-lose in a tribunal, even less so a win-win situation. It's just a lose-lose when you get into that level of technocratic engagement. And the reality is that it's just that one party loses less than the other. In a mediation process, because the parties retain ownership of dealing with what is grabbing them, and the solution that arises comes from them, the issue of win-win is absolute. In fact, it is not possible to have a successful mediation without a win-win, for the simple reason that the two parties own the outcomes that are created for them. Then, of course, we must be mindful of the indirect costs that are associated with formalism and formal conflict management in organizations. And that really refers back to the massive impact of absenteeism, and even more so, the impact of presenteeism, when in fact people continue to come to work but refuse to speak to each other, or specifically undermine what's going on, or themselves can't engage intensely and intuitively in the work that they're meant to be doing. Mediation, by getting into the space, allows the parties to get these things that are getting in the way out of the way in a genuine and sustainable manner. And when we go into that process, we begin to understand straight away that using technocratic or organizational systems to drive solutions, in fact, is a poor second cousin to getting involved in a straightforward mediation process where, in front of an independent, non-vested professional person, the two parties can feel free to engage with each other on the issues that are causing harm both to themselves as human beings and to the organization's ability to achieve its goals.